Hello, hello.
Hello. So this is our next walk me and Rita are doing. We're going to go around Mottisfont and Dunbridge, just outside of Romsey at the moment. It's a 12th century village. It's absolutely beautiful. It's where I grew up. And on the way, we're going to film some little bits of the countryside. We're going to look at something called the ice pit, which is a 17th century way of storing stuff and actually used as a dumping ground since the Victorian period and all the way back to the Roman period. Some fantastic little finds if you know what you're looking for. Then we're going to look at St Andrew's Church. It's a 12th century Norman church, absolutely beautiful, and look at some of the weird different graves and what they mean. And then we're going to go on to Mottisfont Abbey, which is actually a priory, but they call it Mottisfont Abbey. Absolutely beautiful stately home, and it's where my parents grew up when they were children. So this is the start of our journey, and we're just going to be walking down from Kimbridge towards Mottisfont now. So come and join us.
It sounds exciting. We've been here before, and
not this bit. Yeah.
No, not this bit. 1 second. This is like the part where you edit. Sounds exciting. Say hi.
Hey guys.
Always my awkward recording. How do I disable this?
This is just a random little find on our walk. It's quintessentially mad and British, but this gentleman has a what appears to be a boat in his back garden. Actually looks a bit like Orca from Jaws, doesn't it? I don't know why in the middle of the countryside, 30 miles from the nearest main bit of water, you have a boat.
Well sunk into the ground.
Well sunk into the ground, and sure enough, yep, it's a boat.
I mean, I'll definitely try to turn that into like a garden bar or like a reading station.
Yes.
In
to
the
me,
garden.
it looks like a serial killer has placed a prop here. But
run away!
So let's continue our journey onwards.
Wow, living dangerously. We are climbing something in the UK. Ain't this against health and safety?
It's a style. It's a style, Rita. We have many of them.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to watch your feet a little bit because there's thistles and brambles in them.
Yeah.
So this area of the woods going all the way down to Dunbridge used to be really big in quarrying, and throughout the woods here you'll see these concrete structures. These aren't bunkers or anything interesting, but these used to have big old pylons or conveyor belts running through them, even when I was a young lad. And day and night they'd be rumbling with just like continuous amounts of gravel on them.
Okay.
I remember as a kid thinking I really want to ride on one of those conveyor belts until I saw the big gravel crushing machines at their end and thought maybe not so much. But yeah, dotted throughout these woodlands you'll sometimes see these bits of mine wreckage and things. They're not marked on any map, but they're quite interesting just to have a look around and see what you can find at times.
Yeah, let's get closer.
Yeah, sure. Let's have a closer look. Just watch your footing, you can come.
Yeah.
So we're mainly on flint and gravel beds here. This is mainly flint and gravel. Obviously this was once all below sea level, so that's where we get the large chalk cliffs. If we go slightly to the right and over there, this is major gravel pits around here. No longer in service. The last one was just over there at Dunbridge. That closed down about 8 to 10 years ago. But these old gravel mines have been running since the Victorian period, and now we just have little bits of remains lying around to indicate what was once here.
Interesting.
Of course, could be absolutely nothing.
We're hunting for snakes.
Looks like these have been moved.
Recently.
Yeah. Nothing. These have been moved to recently, but this area around here you'll get quite a few little animals. You don't get grass snakes, but you do get slow worms. Ah, perfect, loose leaf. The quintessential part of any English journey should always involve at least 2, 3 or 17 cups of tea. Ideally, loose leaf. And when you come to England, there's a very important lesson to learn, and they give you a little wooden spoon for just this reason. Rita, what goes into a teacup first, the milk or the tea?
Into the milk cup?
What goes in here first, milk or tea?
The tea.
Good. Those who don't understand that usually lose their knuckles with a quick rap if they suggest you put milk in tea first. And should one put sugar in their tea?
If one likes it.
No, that is a heresy and a falsification.
Wow.
There we go. So let's have a perfect cup of tea, shall we?
Yes. With the pinky.
The pinky is reserved for the cup, my darling, not the teapot. Just a splash of cow juice.
Cow juice.
Tea. Pinky out.
Very good. Jolly good, sir.
Okay, Rita, so here, well, on the side of the railway, we have wild raspberries.
Can I eat it?
You can't eat them yet.
Yeah, they're too green.
Still hard and green. But this will be raspberries when they're ready.
Ooh.
Probably
Is it
like in the
illegal
farm
though?
shop.
Is it illegal?
What,
If
to eat
they're-
raspberries?
No, to catch them in this country. Like so, no?
You can eat raspberries, blackberries and
Oh.
things. Oh, the blackberries in the US, they grow them quite early in the year. Here they grow obviously in the autumn.
We need to become like one of those Tupperware ladies in a few weeks and just come and pick some.
You can be a Tupperware lady. I'll be a Tupperware guy. It's not a Tupperware gender.
Gender.
Come on. No, without looking like a retard. 3, 2, 1.
What's that? Just some little bug ASMR for you. Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
insects
I mean,
everywhere.
Butterflies, yeah, it's absolutely timing with them.
I'm okay as long as they are far away. I actually got phobia to butterflies.
There's no name for that, but I can't recall.
Lepidophobia, something like that.
Really? I thought it had just been called a complete pussy, but there we go.
Them fighting words.
So where I'm taking Rita now is a bit of an unusual place to take a young lady, but we're actually in something called the Ice Pit. And this was a 16th to 17th century building that would probably have served the local priory, and it was used for storing meats and products that would go off by essentially digging a deep brick-lined hole in the ground, which would have been really cool because people just couldn't make ice back then. So this is where you'd have stored your fresh meat. Now, it's long since overgrown, but this particular pit that we're in, it's particularly interesting because it's been used also as a dumping ground for about the last 1,000 years. Now, a lot of it has been cleared up over the years or pilfered, but if you look around you can find everything from Roman brick and tile here, to parts of mosaic, all the way up through to the Victorian period where we're going to see china, bits of glass, and generally signs of habitation in a local area for the last sort of 600-700 years certainly. Yeah, so we're going to bring Rita down now, show you what the ice pit looked like and where you'd have stored food, and just look at some of the debris in the area, which shows you sort of human habitation in the area. So come on down, Rita.
Okay, dokie. Tiki da pokey.
Now,
Whoa.
it does look like they've sealed it off, so it was
Yeah, they did.
for a while open, and oh no, we can still
It's
go
still
in.
open.
Now, I don't know if your camera is going to be able to come into this dark little cave of mine.
Oof, 1 second. It's so hot. Well, it's so hot out of here because in this area is actually so much fresh air already.
Yes.
You can see why they picked this location.
Yeah, nice and dark.
Yeah.
So down this large hole here, which should originally had a little ladder, it goes down about 3 meters at the moment because again people have dumped all sorts of stuff down there over the years. But this would have been where you stored your produce.
Yeah.
Meats, dairy products, anything that you wanted to last a little bit longer throughout the summer months. It is actually a grade 2 listed hole in the ground.
I'm actually getting the phone flash out.
Yeah. I doubt it will show up much in there, and I'm not falling over the edge for you. Because you fall down there, you're staying down there.
Yeah, people have been using that as a recent tip, seems like.
Yeah, there's all sorts down there, sadly. But I should imagine if you dug down over the first foot, then you'd really find some interesting bits of artefacts down there.
Oh yeah.
But let's make our way out and have a look at some of these pottery bits.
It's just interesting. This is how they kept ice so far away from.
Well, you couldn't make ice back then, really. You didn't have
You
ice
had to
making
pick it up.
equipment.
That's why it's
So-
ice picker. I understand the format.
It's quite cool.
Looks like very old China. There's that's definitely an Asian building.
Yeah, this
That's definitely like China.
So let's film it as we go along, shall we? So what we've got going along this branch here
Let me show.
is just a selection of little bits and pieces that have been found in here, discarded from people's general belongings. And we can say from some of the older, very thick, heavy glass types, parts of old medicine bottles along here, old storage and things. So just discarded pottery that would have been dumped here. And some of it will be within the sort of 1920s, 1930s. And there were a couple of little bits. I took Rita here, when was it?
A few months,
3 or 4
3 months ago, yeah.
And we found little bits that were date stamped, sort of 18th century and 1820 and so on. So you've got a wide selection representing different changes and styles. Again, when I was a young kid and I used to come down here, you could find whole bits and pieces of things. We certainly knew there was leather working in the area. There were whole belts and bits of shoe.
I wonder if the leather bit is still around there.
Well, we can certainly have a look. And again, over here there were sort of large amounts of bits of mosaic and Roman tile. So sadly, a lot of it's now been picked clean and pulled away.
Probably sold
But
on
again,
eBay.
You still got this nice little selection of bits and pieces.
Oh yeah.
They go all the way back again. Little glass medicine bottles. There's some interesting finds in here. And I should imagine
Salisbury?
if you came down here and really started to dig and look, rather than just pick your way through the sort of surface layers, you find an awful lot more. Now,
Oh, there's a bit of leather right there.
you found a bit of leather?
Yeah, right there.
Whereabouts?
Right there.
Yep. Old bits of leather.
How old would that be, do you gather?
I would have said it would be 18th century.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the bits around here. One thing actually, now here's something I wanted to point out to you, Rita. This is not something you want to get into your system.
Oh, those thingies.
See this plant here?
Mm-hmm.
Remember what I said this was called?
No.
So this particular type of plant here is something called Lord and Ladies.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
It's a real nasty plant. If it grows in mass, like this, it's not too bad. But if you get it in mass, it produces a fume in the air, causes nausea, dizziness, sickness, and can actually lead to paralysis and death in pets. So luckily it's only a small little outbreak, but sometimes you can get large blooms of it, and you really want to avoid that. But yeah, just looking around here, you have very old tile work. Absolutely tons and tons of shards of pottery.
Pottery, yeah.
Going all the way back.
You can still see the metal surroundings that kept the barrels together.
Hoopers.
Yeah, that's what
things
you
around
call them,
barrels,
yep.
Yeah. So everything that would have been around the local industry, around Mottisfont, was generally thrown down here. And now, of course, all that industry's gone. It's now a sleepy little National Trust village. But from an almost archaeological point of view, it's interesting to come down and see what was going on, what people used, what sort of plates and things they had in their houses, the styles, the fashions. So yeah, just exploring a sort of medieval onwards tip can actually reveal some very interesting little pieces.
The places you take me.
Oh, I do. There's very few young ladies that will go to a medieval tip.
And are actually excited.
And remain interested indeed. So, as Rita was saying earlier,
Yeah.
bits of barrel down here.
Where they would have kept how
We'd had wooden barrels that were things. Older galvanised buckets, obviously they're nowhere near as old.
Very careful.
Yeah.
Seems like someone has been digging there recently.
Well, again, yeah, people come along here to find interesting curiosities, and sadly, you know, absolutely laden with pottery still.
Yeah.
But anything that was really old, especially sort of the medieval, 16th century Roman stuff, which used to be down here, has sadly been picked clean on the surface. But I would think, certainly if you came down here with a pickaxe, with some time, you'd probably still find some very interesting finds from the period.
Oh, so hot in here. Oh, yeah.
on, you big wuss.